And then here we are. So when we go on a browser, the first very important aspect for you to remember in terms of downloading brushes and fonts is that you need to have Photoshop opened on your screen. Okay, so if Photoshop is not running on your computer, you won't be able to download them. So open Photoshop and let's create a new file. Let's say create new right here, or file new, and then let's give directions to this document. So since this is a CD cover, usually the size of a CD cover is a perfect rectangle of 5 by 5. So the width is going to be 5 inches and the height is going to be 5 inches. Now, in terms of resolution, again, we need to maintain a high resolution for this, since most CD covers are printed in color and in thick paper, that type of shiny paper. So it's important for us to remember these details. So again, 5 inches in width, 5 inches in height, resolution 300. We'll hit create. And here is our blank CD cover, but that's okay. We'll come back to it and we are going to work on it. Now, let's go back to that browser. So I'm going to use Safari. Safari is working all right with the fonts and the brushes. Some things you're not able to download with Safari, and whenever we'll hit Audition, when we'll start working on the audio software, I'll indicate you some of those details there, but we won't jump there. So let's open a new file right there. And for brushes, this is the site where you find them, brusheez.com. Okay, so it's brush.eezy.com. Hit return. And then here, most of the times, students expect the moment they click here that they can click anywhere and they will be able to find the brush. Not necessarily. So one very important aspect here, you see, you are not in a search for popular graphics, you need brushes. So the first thing I suggest to do is click on top brushes right there. When you click there, if you move it around, you would find a good list of brushes. Some are more creative than others. Some are just kind of paint thrown all over on the page, which is completely fine. Basically, with these brushes, you do whatever you want. So you see, I'm just scrolling through them, trying to find something that I might like or I'm intrigued in. There is one that most of the times I use. It's this one right here. It's the Swirls and Seeds Photoshop brushes. So I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to do free download. And it takes about 5 seconds, if I remember correctly, for it to download. And it's going to go to my downloads. Okay, so there it goes. And then it's going to ask me, do you want to allow downloads on www.brusheezy.com to make changes? And I would say allow. So I would download it, go to my downloads, double click on that folder, and you're still not done. Okay, so you have not installed that brush yet. You have only downloaded it on your computer. Now you need to find the ABR file. Okay, not the TXT, but the ABR. Okay, double click on that file. And when you do, okay, before it wouldn't ask you for this. Now it's asking you that because it doesn't locate what software you're looking for and what exactly you want to do. So just say choose application right here, and we're going to choose Photoshop. We're helping it out, okay? So let's do Adobe Photoshop right there, and click on this first option there on the top, and you see it finally allows us to open it. So when I hit open, what happens is that this brush is automatically going to be added or installed onto the brush palette in Photoshop. So I'll do open and nothing happened. Then you're like, okay, where's the brush? Well, we have to find it, okay? And basically, that's why it's important for us to know the location of our tools, okay? So now that we're here, you need to scroll down to your brush tool in your brush palette. So let's click on that brush tool. And the next step is we have to find that name of the brush, right? So it's easy to actually locate it. After you click on the brush tool, you would go under the size of the brush right there and scroll down in your brush palette. And when you scroll down, it should be the very last one that's added to your brush palettes in there. If you remember when we downloaded it, that was the name of it, right? Swirls and Seeds. So click on that folder, and when you scroll through, you have additional, like different shapes of the same brush, or maybe different thickness, just a little different type of brush, but basically they're all meeting the same style. So I'm gonna click on the brush and look, I'll place it on my page now. Do you see it? Do you see it on my page? So I'm going to click on it, and here's the brush. So this is a brush. Let's find another one that doesn't have the logo there, and click on it, and there it goes. So you see, I'm just clicking and dragging, and here's the brush. Did that make sense? Let me click again here, scroll through, find another one, and let's change the color of my brush. So you see, click on the color menu there, hit OK, and there you go. I'm just clicking and dragging, or you can just click around. So this is what a brush is. Let's repeat this again. Okay, let's go back, find another brush, download it, install it, find it in our brush palette, and repeat this step again. Okay, so let's go back to our browser. Let me go a step back, keep scrolling down, and this time let's do the glossy blood splatter. I don't know, let's just click on it. So again, click on the brush, then you do free download. Give it a couple of seconds to download to your computer. Please remember, have Photoshop opened on your screens. There it goes. Now I'm going to go to my downloads. Let me go up there. Double click on that folder. And again, remember you're looking for the ABR file, okay? The long file, the name of the brush, .abr. Double click on that. And you see now that the first time I've already connected my brush to the software, to the app, this time I don't have to do it. It knows what's looking for, what I'm looking for. So again, the same step, click on your brush tool, go under the size, the number of the brush, click on that arrow, scroll down, and you see it's on the very bottom, it becomes the very last brush in your palette, glossy blood splatter. So open that folder, and you see you have a couple of brushes under that style. Click on it, and there it goes. Let me change the color, make it look like it's blood color. There it goes. You see? So that's how you would download free brushes. Any questions on that? Should I show that again? Did that make sense?
So what do you do after you down or install it?
After I install it, I have to connect it to Photoshop. So I would do choose application, or choose, I think it's choose application, and then go find Photoshop on your computer and click on it until it actually goes to the software, to the app. Click on the app and then hit install, and it's gonna go automatically in there. Did that make sense, Dylan? Where are you? Like what step of the way are you at? You might not be able to hear us. I don't know. Dylan? Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions on how to download brushes? Free brushes. Now again, please be reminded that I think there's a limit per day on how many brushes you can download. If I'm not mistaken, it's either 3 or 5. So play with them, download a couple today, and then you can go back tomorrow and download some more. So you can download an unlimited number of brushes, but it's the same steps that I've shown you how to walk through that. Okay, now let's download some free fonts. Okay, so let's go back to the browser. Let me find the browser. It's somewhere here. And this time in the browser typing space there, type 1001 freefonts.com. Okay, 1001 freefonts.com and hit return. Are you here with me? Yes? No? So now that you're here, you have a long list of font styles, or I call them font classes, okay? When you click on one, you actually have a lot more suggestions or a lot more options within that font style. For instance, let's click decorative right there. You see, when I start to scroll down, there's a lot of fonts within this font that you can use. It's a lot of options. So they're extremely creative and really nice. By the way, I've been using them quite a couple of good times whenever I would design specific things that pertain to holidays. So for instance, if you're doing something for Halloween, they have this really nice Halloweeny style type of fonts, or if you're doing something for Christmas, that basically most of the times when I'm working on holidays or things that would require some type of creativity, that's when I come back to this. So again, the same exact steps. You see, I like this font. I'm going to click download right here. Again, I'll do allow. It's going to go to my downloads. I'll go to my downloads folder, double click on it. And this time you're looking for the OTF or the TTF file. You see this one has a OTF, double click on it. It takes a couple of steps here. And then you have to do install font. When you click install font, the only thing you have to remember is the name of the font, okay? So our font is Fog Lighten, okay? Install font, and it's gonna go under your Photoshop. So it should be there, okay? We don't know yet, we'll have to check for it, but it should be under my Photoshop font styles. Again, please remember the name of the font, and I'll tell you why in a second. So let's open Photoshop. Let's click on our type tool and let's type something using that font that we have just downloaded. Now remember, with the brushes, when we downloaded brushes, every brush becomes the last one in the brush palette, okay? With the fonts, that's not the case. With the fonts, they're arranged in alphabetical order. So that's why you need to remember the name of the font. So now I'm gonna go to my font style right there. And what was the name of our font? Something with hog, right? Can't remember the name of it. Let me see. Let me go back on my browser and see the name of it. It's Fog, not Hog. It's Fog Lighten, okay? So again, click on your type tool, search under, and just type Fog. There it goes. You see, Fog Lighten number 4 regular. Click on it. And then you can type inside the box. Let me just type CD cover. Let me change the font color so we guys can see it. Click on black. There it goes. Let me make it a bit bigger and move it out of the way. There it goes. Did that work for you? Let's repeat the steps again. Okay. So let me go back on a browser. Again, you're under 1001freefonts.com, and here let's find the Disney style. So just click on the style, and then you can just start scrolling down and find one that you really like, or one that you think will work well with the style of your CD cover. I like this one. This looks quite creative. So let's download this one. It's called American Castrol. Download. Go to your downloads. Open that folder, and here, whoa, you have a lot of fonts that go under this this class or under this family font style. So again, you're looking for the OTF or for the TTF file. You see, so whichever one you would click on, it would work, but only this one would be installed. So let me try to click on this one, for instance. Double click on it, hit install font. It should be installed. You see when those windows pop up on the screen, you know it's installed. Go on Photoshop, click on your type tool. Let me type something here on the bottom and go find it. What's the name of it? It's American something, right? American, there it goes. Here it is, you see, American Castrol Straight Half Regular. Click on it and I'll type Taylor Swift, for instance. Okay. Taylor Swift. Select it, it's probably too big, that's why it doesn't fit in the box. There it goes. Okay, let me move it out of the way. So here it is. Did it work for you guys? It did not. Rachel, what didn't work? What step of the way are you?
So I got to the point where I had downloaded it and then I went into Photoshop and I clicked on my type tool.
Hmm?
And then I went into the font selection menu and I started typing in the name of the font I chose and I'm not seeing it.
Okay, try to make sure you're typing the right name. It should be there. If you have installed it and it went in and it just kind of bloomed up on your screen and it showed you that it's installed, it should be there. Just make sure you're searching it by the right name. That's always tricky with installing fonts because you need to remember their names. Since they're arranged in alphabetical order, not like the brushes, you know, they become the very last one after you install it. So try again, try a different font and type on your, click on your type tool and try again. Okay, while Rachel is doing that, why don't we delete all these layers that we have on our CD cover, okay? And then, or basically we can start a new one. That's not a big problem at all. And start and design something very simple using the brushes and the fonts that we have, okay? So again, File, New, and I'll do 5 by 5 inches. Make sure you always change your pixels into inches. Resolution 300. Hit create. Unlock the background layer and let's apply a background color. Okay, let's start with applying a background color. I'll probably do a gradient color. Now, when I clicked on the gradient tool, you see right now I have 2 reds right here. It looks like I like red a lot. So I'm going to click on this color menu and I'll change my colors. And let's try a combination of yellow and red and see what that's going to look like. With the gradient tool, you remember, just click, drag, let go. And there is the background of my CD cover. Now, what I'm going to do next is something important that I want you guys to pay attention to. Anytime you're working with brushes, you see the previous file we worked on. Let me just click on my file there. When you go to your background layer, you see all brushes are applied to the background layer. And if I were to want to delete one, I would not be able to. I mean, I would, but it would just be a nightmare. Why? Because they're not applied on individual layers. Okay, so remember that. In terms of brushes, try to apply each brush that you're using on a separate layer. Why? Because what if you don't like it and you want to go back and change it at any time in history? So here, I'm going to be smart this time. Under my new document, I'll go layer and I'll do new layer. And when I do new layer, I'll hit OK here and look what happens. Do you see my layers menu? I have layer 1 right here. So layer 1 will belong to my first combination of brushes or just to one brush in particular. So now I'm going to click on my brush, exactly the same steps that we walked on. Click on this arrow right there, and I'm going to scroll up and use the very first brush that I had, Teardrop Pass. Yeah, that looks quite interesting. Let me change the color of it. I'll change it from yellow to something black, something dark, and I'll open this size and boost up my brush size. So I'll do a large size to make sure I cover a big part of my my CD cover, and then I'll place it somewhere there. I just hit return and the brush is applied. Now, what if I don't like the placement of my layer? The placement of my brush. All I gotta do is hit Command T, and you see how my brush is selected. Now I can manipulate it. I can change the placement of it. I can bring it in, bring it up, move it up or down a little bit. I mean, I can be creative about it and make it look quite interesting. So let me place it right there. I'll hit return and there it goes. There's my brush right there. Okay, now if I want to apply a new one, I always, remember I just told you, I always try to work with individual layers. So I'll do again, layer, new layer, and that's gonna be layer number 2, and I'll hit OK. I'll go again to my layers menu, to my brushes menu, and this time, let me try to pick something that's a little more simple to place this in the corner right here. Okay, so now I'm going to, I'll leave it small, maybe. Yep, I think that size would work quite all right. So I'll just hit return, and my brush is applied there. So you see, I tried to create this balance on my CD cover. Now again, it depends on the style that you're doing your CD cover. If you're doing something that is rock related, definitely this is not going to work, right? This is way too creative and probably way too soft or simple for a heavy style of music or a heavy style of a CD cover. But again, it's completely up to you. So now that I have my brushes applied, I'm going to bring in a title to this CD, okay, a name to it. So I'm going to click on my type tool, and I will probably place the name somewhere here. Click, drag, let go. And let's come up with a popular CD name. Okay, so help me out. What do you think would be something that would work? And I'll probably maintain that style there, that, what was the style that we last picked? It was a Disney style, right? So I'm just gonna type Live Free, okay? I'll select it. Not way too creative this morning. As you can see, it's still Monday morning and I haven't had enough coffee. So I'll bring it up right here. Maybe I'll change the color. Let's try that out. Let me double click on the type style, type font. Let me zoom out of the way. Click on my color menu there. Let's try something that's bluish. Yep, something like that would work okay, for sure. Hit okay, then I'm gonna apply some effects to my style. So double click on the gray section right there within your layers menu. And here I'll move this out of the way so I see what's happening. I'll do bevel and emboss, contour, satin, I like that. Let's do a drop shadow. Let me click on the drop shadow and let's add some shadow. So you see I clicked on the plus sign there, and now let me bring up the opacity of my shadow. That's too much, I don't like it. Let's do a darken option there, and let's see if we had some noise. Sure, let's hit okay. Okay, I still feel like this is not placed right, so let me play with it some. Maybe right in the middle. Who knows? Sure, we can place it there. And then the last thing we would need on a CD cover is to indicate who it belongs to. Okay, so maybe Live Free, that's the theme or the motto for this CD cover, and the singer or the style. It doesn't, it has to be something that would jump at the audience. And then I'm just gonna write this right here, and I'll say who this belongs to. So I'll just type Kate Stepanuk. But I'll change the font style this time. I'll use something very simple. Nope, I don't like that. Let's try this one. Since we started with that style, let's make it smaller. And let me place it right in the corner right here. Make sure you are considering those margins. And I'll change the font color. I'll go back to probably black. I'll hit okay. And there it goes. Okay, so basically this is all you have to do for me for this assignment. Okay, something extremely simple, but mainly what I'm interested in is two things. One, you are able to find and download free brushes, install them. Two, you're able to install and find your free fonts. And three, you can place them on the cover of the CD, make something, simple or creative, however you'd prefer it, play with the tools a little bit, save the project, export it as a PDF, and upload the PDF under Canvas. Okay, so now let me save this. I will save it. I always save my things as a Photoshop version first. Everything that I've ever done in Photoshop, I have a Photoshop copy of it. Why? Because what if I need it? You know, there's always this Y. So I'll do CD cover and I'll save it in my folder under my Photoshop folder. Under format, make sure you save it as a Photoshop version, just to make sure you're maintaining those layers. I'll hit save and okay. And if you check out, you see I have a good list of layers there. And then I'm going to export it or save it as a PDF file. So again, I'll do save as, save on my computer. In that same folder, you can leave the same name. Under format, click on that arrow and select Photoshop PDF. Click on that option, hit save. Okay, it always asks you for a couple of extra clicks whenever it's saving your PDF. So just do save and yes to all the messages that pop up on your screen. And that's it.